You got the lead early and just kind of kept going. Derek Ryan said the thing that impressed him the most was that you played a mature third period in a game that was in control and limited the chances from what he called the box, the slot area tonight. With all the 8 goals, is that what you were more excited about, the fact that you didn't give up much?
Yeah, well, you know what, I think, we didn't give up a lot. I thought we started well. I thought our special teams were good. Our goaltending was good. For me, heading into that third period, we were in control, and we wanted to build on what we laid down in the Montreal game when we were up by 1. We talked about establishing and continuing to grow an identity. It hasn't all come together as quick as we wanted to, in this young part of our season. But I do believe that we're getting better, specifically in this last stretch, and we've weathered some injuries. We're starting to return some guys that are really making an impact on the game and our lineup. And I also think with us returning some healthy bodies, it's getting competitive for ice time. It's not just automatic that people are going in. We're sitting people out, and I think that's healthy when there's that type of competition.
Because of the injuries and other things, you've moved a lot of the lines, but you kept that Costin Ryan Shore line together now for a few games and paid off tonight with some goals. What have you liked about that trio?
Well, I think Kleem is a big body. He's a good forechecker. When he plays to a certain formula, I think he's very effective. And I think simplicity is his formula for success. Being physical, being straight ahead, straight line. He's been a good addition to our team, I think. And so credit to him since he's come in. I think Derek Ryan is intelligent. He's above pucks. He knows how to play the game the proper way. He's a right-handed face-off option, and Shore is someone who I think also has a good hockey IQ. He understands how we have to play. They've been pretty solid defensively, and I think they complement each other. They have a form of chemistry, and that's why we wanted to keep them together tonight.
Jay, did you feel like this was the kind of the best game from your forwards? I'm talking about like 1 through 12 that everyone kind of contributed tonight.
First of all, how you feeling?
Better.
Yeah? You're back to full health?
I am, yeah.
Okay, good. I would say it's one of our best games. I think it was nice to see each line kind of get on the score sheet and stuff like that, but we've played some good games here, specifically in the last while. But even in some of the tight games that we've played, I think we've gotten contributions through our 4 lines, but something to build on for sure. And to see some quote unquote unusual suspects get on the scoreboard, I think it's good for their own personal self-confidence.
Do you feel like each line kind of needs its own identity? Does that help with this team? Kind of
sure.
Best, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think I think for players to have a foundation to go to, it's important, because you're not going to have games like this every night. And it's important not to just measure a successful game on whether or not you had 6 shots on net or whether or not you got on the scoreboard. I think there's other ways to help a team win. And for the coaching staff, it's important to clarify that. It's important to celebrate some of the small, little, and subtle things that go into winning, and we're trying to do that.
22 minutes for Evan Bouchard here tonight. What did you think of his play tonight, bouncing back from?
Yeah, I thought he made some real nice plays with the puck. I thought, that we like a lot of that pair in that young pair with Broberg and him. I thought he looked dangerous with the puck, and he defended pretty good.
Costin, with a scrap here, maybe not something that he's going to do all the time, but is it good for the group to have a guy in that moment that'll answer it that way?
Yeah, and I don't think it was at the end of the game. We're finishing out the game the way it happened. He stuck up for himself, and I think that's important. I think when you do that, people notice around the league. And, he's a big man, and he stuck up for himself.
With respect to load management, how valuable is a night like tonight where you see McDavid and Draisaitl well under 20 minutes, and maybe you're able to do that because of how other players were playing tonight?
Yeah. We talked a lot over the last 48 hours about the Washington game, and we beat that one up pretty good, but both in the coaches' room and in here. But I would say one of the things that we didn't love about that game was we didn't love the way we skated. And, whether that's a factor of the travel, of the schedule, any of that, the fact of the matter is sometimes it's hard to pour from an empty cup. And yesterday was about kind of refilling that cup or that energy reservoir. And then tonight, the way the game played out, it allowed us to spread the minutes out. And, we found a win.
Jay, the last 2 years, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' 5-on-5 production wasn't where he's wanted. He's already got as many goals this year, 7, as he had all of the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And, 12 goals overall. What have you seen the difference in him 5-on-5 specifically this year offensively compared to the last 2?
Yeah. First of all, I'm proud of that he's had that kind of result. We had some good chats in training camp with the coaching staff and with Ryan in terms of expectations. I thought he had a really good camp, and he has that look about him. Some guys, the killer instinct or the eye of the tiger, whatever you want to call it, he has he's put an import on that type of production. And, for Nuge, obviously he's celebrated in this city for the impact that he's had on the organization and the city as a whole. But he's a very important person in our dressing room that I don't think gets talked about enough.
We've heard about the team placing, almost more value on the process than the result. And sort of in the context of losses, I wonder when you have a big win like tonight, how you field that same theory, I guess.
Well, the medicine is the same. We go to work tomorrow morning. We take pride in putting the work in and making sure we're making good decisions to make sure that we're ready to play against Minnesota. We don't adjust based on a big win or if we've let one go that we wanted to have back. We put our noses to the grindstone and go to work. I think you're talking about results and process, but I think on our New York trip after the game, I don't know if it was Gene's question or not, but we talked about how we really liked that 50-shot performance we put on the Islanders that night, and we didn't end up on the right side of the scoreboard. But one of the things we talked about was how sometimes results lag behind performance, and we believe in that. And that goes to process. And I think since that game, the team's 5-2.
Jay, Jesse Puljujärvi did an interview with a reporter back in Finland where he was, clearly his confidence is a bit of a struggle right now. He's beating himself up pretty good. I wonder how much of that you saw and what you think when you hear one of your players talking about his own game in that way.
Well, I was made aware of that. I haven't read it, and sometimes things in translation don't always come across. So I don't know the whole story on that. But what I would say is that confidence, I believe, is not something you necessarily start out with. It's something that's earned through a lot of hard work and preparation. And I know that Jesse's putting in that hard work and preparation. He's somebody who comes to the rink and loves the game, and he works. It hasn't gone in for him. So hearing that, I didn't love hearing that because I want all of our players confident. And, there's ebbs and flows in an 82-game schedule. But what we're focusing on with Jesse is giving him the tools he needs to feel confident. And sometimes that happens in a video room. Sometimes that happens on the ice in practice, working on specific skills or rehearsing certain moments. But in the end, he's a valued member of our team, somebody who's much appreciated. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. We don't just measure his game in how many goals he has through 27 games. We measure if he's taking a good shift, if he's affecting things on a power play, and if he's being physical and using the frame that he's been given. So, we're helping him through that process, and he's not the first person in this league to go through it. And the good part is I know that it's in there and it'll come out.